Week 7, Chapter 3, Problem 6 by Megan Klingler. Problem 6 has 5 parts. I will go through each of them with you and show you how to get the correct answers. We will be journalizing 5 different transactions. Transaction 1 is to show depreciation on the company's wind turbine equipment for the year. The amount on my problem is $6,100. Your problem is going to be different, so make sure you get the correct numbers for your problem. To find the correct way to do this, we can look at our textbook on pages 90 to 92 under depreciation. Debits always go in first, so I selected depreciation expense dash equipment with a $6,100 debit, which is the amount shown on my problem, and then I credited the accumulated depreciation dash equipment account with $6,100 credit, giving us an equal amount in both the debit and credit. I chose those descriptions because we are dealing with depreciation. The expense shows that we are devaluing the equipment, but moving that amount into the accumulated depreciation account. If you add the leftover cost of the equipment, which is not shown here, with the accumulated depreciation, it will show the original price that was paid for that equipment. The second transaction we need to add to our journal talks about prepaid insurance. The information on this can be found on pages 89 to 90 in our textbook. Again, we start with a debit to insurance expense and a credit to prepaid insurance. You need to figure out the correct amount to debit and credit. The company prepaid insurance account had a debit balance of $3,100 before adjusting the cost of the expired coverage. Now that $3,100 is for mine. Be sure and look up the appropriate numbers for yours. Analysis of the prepaid account on mine shows that $1,150 of unexpired insurance coverage remains at year end on my problem. So I took the $3,100 balance and subtracted $1,150 to get the remaining amount, giving us the total used. Be sure to use the amounts from your problem to figure out the correct amounts. With the correct numbers and accounts selected, this problem is all finished up. Be sure to use the numbers from your problem. In transaction 3, the keywords consulting work tell you which part of our textbook to look in for help. It's pages 89 to 90. You might think by reading this problem that the cash account would be involved in this, but it isn't. Although they paid in cash, the money is revenue from work that is going to be done. So we put the unearned revenue account that the cash was put in to debit and put the correct amount in there. Then in then we credit the service revenue account where the earned portion of the money should go. The next step is to figure out how much money is going to be used. Take the original amount, which is $6,300 on my problem, and divide it by 3 to get the correct amount to use. We do this because only 1/3 of the work has been done. That got me a total debit of $2,100 and a credit of the same amount. This finishes off the third part of this problem. Transaction 4 tells us the wage expense that we need to journalize. When we read through the information, we see that we are recording a wage transaction that is earned but has not yet been paid at the end of the year. On page 95 of our textbooks, it tells us how to journalize this type of transaction. We debit the wage expense account and credit the wages payable account. The wage payable account is where the company stores wages that have been earned but not yet paid. The last journal entry we need to record is from the investment interest, which is discussed on page 95 in our textbook. If you look through the available options to use, we only have two that have anything to do with interest. So we know that the interest is revenue, so it needs to be credited, which then makes the interest receivable the debit portion of the journal entry. When we finish with this part, go ahead and push the View General Journal button on the bottom of the page. That takes you to your general journal, and it should look something like this, but with the appropriate numbers from your problem. Feel free to use the Check My Work button up top. You can use it up to 3 times to make sure you have the right numbers. Good luck on your assignments.